Well, I am so excited to have in studio with us Khalid. Yay!
What's going on? Hello.
Welcome back to New York.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be back.
Of course. I know that you spent some of your time growing up here.
Yeah.
Being from a military family. Like, is it weird to be back, or do you have like your favorite spot?
I love being back. I love New York. It's a change of pace from LA. I'm a nature guy, but it's something about these cities that just make you think. Like walking the streets and looking around, I'm like, how big are these buildings right now?
Yeah.
So I love New York.
I was going to say, like, you say you love the greenery, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how there are parts of Manhattan, like right in the middle of the city.
The parks.
They squeeze those in between the buildings.
And I love, I think it's like being near the Hudson, being near the river. Is that the river?
Oh, yeah,
that's
like Hudson
here?
River Park.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I mean, I love involving myself and walking around the city and seeing so many things that I probably wouldn't some of the first few times that I've been here. So I've been walking a lot more. I've been going out and checking out parks and seeing a lot of new things. So I love it out here. I feel like that's the city for that. You could just get lost in it and just explore.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
And I was going to say congrats on the album, which came out about a month ago. Sincere. I mean, I think the fans are just eating it up right now.
Oh, thank you.
I saw one fan said that I've needed new Khalid for ages because his voice feels like a warm bath. And I was like, oh,
so sweet.
Yes, that is the perfect
Warm
way.
bath is a crazy.
Right? Like your voice is like self-care.
I know, but I love the comparison because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to heal, and I'm here to help my fans, and I'm here to soothe my fans. And I feel like when I think of my music, I look at it as that soundtrack and that backdrop of my fans' life. And we have a really personal connection, my listeners and I. So for them to be saying all of these things to me is just, it's incredible because I know I told them to be patient, but I was never expecting the response. And it's so beautiful to see that they connect with the music so much, because when I listen to it, I'm like, I love it. I'm happy with it. But for other people to reciprocate that energy and give it right back to me, it's amazing.
I love the connection you have with your fans. And
Thank
I
you.
think, like, what did we wait, 5 years for the studio album?
Yeah, 5.
I mean, I love that you took your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And I was reading somewhere, there was some interview, and it was talking about how there are like maybe like 100 songs that you write and you record. How do you decide which of the songs make the cut?
It's hard because, you know, I know a couple of fans were like, well, where are the bangers? We want the bangers. We want the bangers. I'm like, I promise you, like, they're there. But this album is super intentional, and there's some bangers sprinkled in there. You know, I mean, I love Heatstroke.
I was gonna say Heatstroke, the new video for that. That's out.
Just love it, you know. But it really is a very personal process, and if it was my choice, I probably would have put like 35 songs on the album.
Why can't we? Is there a rule? Is there somebody record people, or is there a rule as to how many songs we're allowed?
I'm like, look, you can't be overfed, you know, because then your stomach's gonna hurt a little bit after. Because if I'm dropping 35 songs, when's the next time you think I'm gonna come back? No, I'm kidding. But no, it just, I wanted to give them like the perfect amount where I felt like, okay, this is great, and then save some where I'm like, okay, the next time I come back, I won't have to take as long, because I still have so many more songs that I love, and those songs need a home too. So
True. So you have them in the bank. But here's the thing. You say you write about these personal experiences, whether they be yours or someone else's.
Right.
Is it weird to put out music where you feel like you're not emotionally in that space any longer?
It can be. It can be. Sometimes you do grow out of a space, especially creatively. I kind of grew into this space. Luckily, half of this album was written between 2024 and 2023. And half of the album were songs from up until like 2020. So for me,
we were like in pandemic mode then.
Yeah. When I'm picking the selects, I'm thinking, what songs sparsely did I create over the years that I feel aligns with who I am now? Because it's almost like you learn the thread of the story after you've lived life. I look at one song, I'm like, this song is still super relevant to my life now, whether or not it was made 5 years ago. I mean, I still even listen to songs from American Teen where I'm like, I wrote that? And some songs I'm like, boy, what were you going through? You
But
need a
it's kind of
hug.
nice to see the personal growth, though. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's one thing about you is that you seem very open to that and
Yeah.
putting it all out there and just being able to relate to people.
That's the best part of making music is experiencing vulnerability. There's nothing more more vulnerable than being on stage and performing for people who mutually love you, who've connected with your songs over the years, who've grown with your songs, who have, it's exceeded generations at this point through your songs. The people who were in high school when they were listening to it when it came out aren't in high school anymore. They're adults
Well,
in there.
you're not in high school anymore.
I'm in my
And
mid 20s.
Okay, full disclosure, I had no idea before this interview that like I had just assumed you were not like a high schooler when you had first came out. And I'm like, wait, he was only 17 back then. Shut up.
Yeah.
So how does that feel like growing in front of everybody and changing and being so public about it?
It feels. I actually have really enjoyed how I've aged through this industry over the past few years because I still share the same core values as an artist and as an individual. They're just matured and furthered, and my fans feel that. Like when they listen to me, they're hearing me for me, and they're hearing the me that they've loved for the past few years, and that's the most important part. So I love the fact that we've all grown up with each other because I just ran into somebody who went to the American team tour, and here they are like working in the same building. And
Wait, so you remember people from like just
oh yeah,
one random show?
I remember fans all the time. I just met a fan in Australia that I remembered from a festival, and also in Australia. I called her I was standing on stage looking in the crowd when I called her backstage, and I still remember her. And so yeah, I definitely remember my fans because I have personal conversations with them. So I'm like, I definitely remember them.
Well, I know that you mentioned that a lot of your inspiration comes from like not just your stories, your personal stories, but theirs too.
Yeah.
Do you carry around a notebook? No, a serious
It's
question.
all up in here.
No. Like, because I know you're a storyteller with your writing.
Sometimes I use my phone as a notebook, but a lot of the stories that I keep are really kept inside my brain, because when I look at myself creatively, I'm super impulse driven. I'll walk into a studio and leave with a song that I freestyled off the dome.
I've always wondered that. It's like,
Yeah.
do you go in with a hook in your brain?
I
Or
go
do you
in
just
with
say, oh, this is
nothing.
going to be the chord progression here?
Honestly, if I'm thinking too much when I'm going to the studio, I know I'm not going to have a good session. I go to the studio and I'm like, don't even want to think about what I'm going to create, because the moment that I think, I block myself because I'm like, oh, that's not good.
Oh my God.
Or maybe
You
it
need to
should be
be
this.
a life coach, because I feel like if you give that advice to people, like you could get people out of all of their ruts.
Yeah.
It is great
I
advice.
am an overthinker. It actually has been a challenge to like unprogram that from my brain and from my way of living, to just be like, just go with the flow. Just hop in the studio. You're gonna leave with the record. You don't know what it's gonna be, but you'll find one.
Wow.
And that's helped me a lot. And that's honestly birthed some of my most amazing songs.
Oh my gosh. I'm like in love with the new album. It
Thank
is
you.
so good.
Oh, thank you.
It is so good because it just feels like true to you too, without being like, oh, it's like, oh, here's the different album. Because, a lot of
Right.
artists go through phases,
Right.
like where they are. But I just feel like this stays true to you. It has like that almost like 90s, 2000s
Yeah.
vibe to it in a
core,
way. Yeah.
my core of inspiration. And when I think of this album, of course I think of my fans, and I think of my fans from all across the years. I feel like there's songs that remind you of Free Spirit, like Heat Stroke and Long Way Home, but then there's other songs to me that remind me of American Teen, like Altitude.
Yeah.
Altitude reminds me of Therapy from American Teen. So it's just it is me throughout all of the years of life, all of the advancements that I've made, all of the learning, and it is me over all the past few years. So I just love that it's all these little bits and pieces of me compiled all into one. I really like that a lot.
That is so cool. I have a question about collaborations.
Yeah.
Because you've collaborated with like everyone in the world.
Yeah.
So I forgot where I heard this, but you were talking about how you really try to put the artists you're collaborating with and kind of play to their talents.
Yeah.
In a way, because it's like you're genreless.
Thank you.
You'll work with anybody, any genre.
I will.
And you make it work. And it's almost like you highlight the other person's talents. Is that something you do on purpose, or is it just part of your vibe?
I think it's just because all of my life, I feel like I choose the easygoing route where I'm like, I could get along with pretty much anybody. I'm like, hey, I'm just here. What's up? So that translates through me creatively when I'm working with all these people. We're getting to know each other as people. We're getting to know each other as friends. And being a collaborator comes with a responsibility. It comes with collaboration. There are no egos involved in the process of collaborating. We are two artists coming together for music and for connection and to inspire others. So I love collaborating. Collaborating is literally one of my favorite things to do. I love collaborating. I love meeting new artists. I love listening to music. I love diving in. So if I can step into someone else's world, I feel like it's just something that's just natural to me. I love to explore and to learn different things about the way that other people work too.
I love seeing that happen. If there was an artist today that you could just DM right now.
Okay. You know what? I've really been wanting to work with Cigarettes After Sex. I've really been wanting to make it happen because the lead singer also is from El Paso. And so we have this amazing connection, and I would really love to write a song with them. I think it would be awesome.
All right. Let's guys get on this. Tag them. We're making this happen. Okay?
We got to, because please, come
on. So you're going to be doing some shows. I saw end of September. You're playing Prudential Center for our local fans if they want to go see you.
So excited. I'm so excited. I know that the energy is going to be incredible, and I really can't wait to see all of them.
Well, we cannot wait to have you here in our area anytime. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Let's give it up for Khalid.